but I'm excited to be here at the podcast. I've never been on a podcast before, so this is exciting. And I mean, the world is your oyster at this moment. So, yeah, or at least
Wow.
I'm your oyster. You could crack me open if you want.
We got a bunch of pearls around us. Oh, good to see you. Dude, your beard looks so full.
Oh yeah, the beard. It's I don't know how much of me this is showing, but um, yeah, it's been fun. But they make us wear beard nets at my work now, so I'm like the only one who's like it gets like all up in my mouth, you know.
Yeah. What's that
But
like?
you, um, it's just it's life. I'm excited to move on. Let's say that. I've been working towards this house for a few years. I don't know
Heck yeah.
the way your podcast works. I've actually never seen an episode.
Okay. It's all good.
Sorry.
No,
I
dude.
didn't know about it until you told me and
Yeah, until I
invited me.
asked you.
Yeah. So I'm kind of struggling to find it, like what, because I've seen some podcasts before, and sometimes they'll just question you, and then sometimes they're all super laid back, which I'd imagine is kind of more your style.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
we're doing it right now.
it's a weird feeling, man. But all right, I'll keep moving forward. I came up with some topics if you want
Yeah.
um, to talk about them.
Yeah,
Let's
what do you
see.
got?
I got it in my notes here. I have a flipping phone for all of you youngins watching. This is what they look like, and they flip. And that's the best part when you really hang up on someone. Just, oh yeah, well I had to go to the store twice today, and it's just like, seriously, it brings those arguments to full closure. All right,
Literally.
here we are. The only problem is that it takes me forever to get to like notes, you know,
You got to go
or
through the menus and stuff.
yeah, you gotta go to like menu, settings, tools,
Dude, you
some
know,
sub tools.
it's
It's like,
deep.
yeah, but yo, you know what?
Something I loved about the flip phones is that so like it's easier to text without looking. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah, because all the like you just like click on each number depending on like what letter you want. So
Mm-hmm.
like I used to be able to like text in class like while still facing forward. You know what I'm saying? Like I could
Yeah.
just
So I'm laughing. I'm laughing because all these thoughts, these memories pop into my head. Like with you, especially,
good.
because the one that came into mind because of the classroom, I just need to tell you, is that time you texted me a picture, and all I said was, when your teacher thinks you're on your phone, but you're actually on your spaghetti. And it just showed like kids holding spaghetti under their desks.
I don't remember that, but I'm glad you thought about
That's such
it.
an Omar text. I always get these Omar texts. They're like next level texts because they're kind of like blindside texts out of nowhere. And then I remember that one. There's another good one. And it's just like, my eyes are up here, and it's this drawing of or my tits are up here, and it's this drawing of a woman who had like eyes for boobs, and it was hilarious. Oh my god! But yeah, no,
uh,
you're like that random quality text guy. You've always been like that. I've known you since kindergarten, right?
yeah, dude. I guess the most recent blindside text would be like, "Hey, come on my podcast." Like,
Yeah, that's random, man. It's just like always, every single time. Like, oh yeah, this is Omar. And what's up with Zach nowadays? You guys are like two peas in a pod.
oh yeah, he was actually. We just finished the podcast like an hour before you joined right now, so
Oh,
that was pretty
nice.
cool. Yeah, he's over in Oklahoma right now, just on his
Oh
quarantine
wow,
life. Yeah, so
that's cool.
yeah, dude, he's got a cat. He has a podcast too that I was on,
Hmm.
so that was pretty tight. The pen and the sword is what his is called.
That's a good name.
Yeah, dude.
Omar the Grateful. That's a
Yeah,
good. I remember we were talking about Omar the Great. So I
yeah.
see you went that direction. I love it.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's like a
Sorry I'm
like.
moving around so much.
Oh, dude, it's all good. Do whatever you gotta do. So what are your topics?
Oh, let's see. Well, I have being a dad in the world of tomorrow.
Wow.
That's the first one. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, dude, because you're actually a dad and I'm not. So I feel like you have more experience than I do.
Yeah, undebatably I do. But there's always like a thing you could see in people like that guy's probably going to be a good dad. Usually it's because they're patient or because they think a certain way that sees beyond like initial troubles. Um, but I always thought you'd be a good dad. You, a lot of our friends from high school, you know. But I think it always comes down to like just this weird tenacity that you have to have. Like the second I became a dad, it was just like this motivation that I had never had, and it really comes down to the idea that your lifespan's like this long. But the second you have a kid, then you have to worry about all their kids, and it just goes forever. So now I'm worried about like, I was worried about 60 years tops. You know, I was like, I'm gonna drink myself to death. I'm gonna be fine with it. I'm a brewer. That's cool. I'm just joking. I don't condone that behavior. Anyways,
Oh, okay.
pushes forward to infinity, and your mind goes through this phase where you're like, you start caring about like the world in ridiculous ways.
So would you say
But
that your awareness expanded after you had a kid?
yes, yeah, definitely. It expanded, probably not in a political way, but in just kind of like the way you look at people and
Yeah.
the way that, because you're at that point you're helping raise a person. You know, you gotta raise them right, and then you're just kind of looking for examples, and you see a lot of good examples and a lot of bad examples, and that's kind of maybe even the point that gets you to think of forever.
Yeah, something that you kind of mentioned, and I notice in like in my friends that do have kids, like my roommate Luis, like he has a kid Ollie, he's like 4.
Hmm.
So I feel like you guys are able to tap into like this extra like energy reserve that's like it's like in us as a man, but it's
Yeah,
kind of I don't know if it's like dormant or if like something new becomes awakened or generated when we have a kid. And it's such a trip, dude. It's like you guys are able to like you guys go like Super Saiyan, like it does if that makes sense.
yeah, it is something that I wish I had when I was younger, because it's weird when you do. I mean, I think everyone does that when they get older. They have regrets, like of the way that they performed in high school, or like certain things. Like I really want to do wrestling,
Oh,
but
cool.
or like I really wish I had done wrestling. Not I don't want to do it now, but I was
Oh,
like, why didn't I do that? You did that, man. It was a fun sport. I would have been probably decent at it. Um, or at least not a complete pushover. But geez, then shit. Sorry, I got distracted.
by what?
I got a guest star. She's
Hello.
oh,
Oh.
she's gone. She ran away, and she can't hear you anyways.
That's all good.
Sorry, I forgot the
No, I
topic. That
feel
was Kaylee.
yeah. What's up, Kaylee? Shouts out, Kaylee. Have you are you into jujitsu at all?
Yeah, I've been looking into it, and I've been really thinking that after I get my feet on the ground with this house, that I'm gonna do some sort of martial arts,
Heck yeah.
because I've seen the Zen-like qualities. I mean, it's a physical release, and I used to have that all throughout high school. You did too, you know, just tons of sports, exercise, playing outside. You know, we were both in track, and I can't wait to get back to that grind. You know, and I don't want to run anymore. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you have that desire to wrestle, like jujitsu is a good would be a good like outlet for that. I want to. I've been looking into it too. I mean, like a lot of stuff is closed right now because of COVID, but I definitely like want to get into that. Just like jujitsu. Yeah, having that like just like that physical discipline, because it also like disciplines you like mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like that's something that's
Yeah,
super appealing to me, and it sounds like you are too.
yeah, it is. I've seen it with just like, yeah, all the examples you see of people out in the world that are doing well. They have a nice physical routine,
Yeah,
and
dude.
something that's even more strenuous sometimes is what makes people the most happy. And I feel like I live in that realm too, where you got to be moving at a high speed and performing in multiple areas of your life. Otherwise, it's like I think I just get this weird chip, yeah, just chipped out of my confidence, and it's enough to slow me down until I just feel like I'm stagnating. Like I told you the other day, I felt like I was stagnating, and you're like, no, 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 that's an illusion. You said
Yeah,
that's
dude.
exactly right. I wanted to elaborate that point.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like a lot of people nowadays, because of the way they could view the world so quickly and easily, feel like they're stagnating themselves because they could see plenty of people that have put in the hours to success, but it looks like an instant, you know? And therefore, the illusion of stagnation is probably one of the greatest threats to our generation because it makes, I mean, it's just the illusion causes itself to happen. You know, the stagnation is based off of fear of not moving forward. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
dude, I definitely resonate with that. One instance, like a specific example that I can think of in my life is like after graduating college, it was kind of like, okay, like I've done what society has told me to do. Like I got good grades and I got a college
yeah,
degree. Now everything should be aligned, but it's not. Like that just made me like super anxious and like confused and depressed because it was like, wait, I'm not famous at 22. What's going on kind of thing. Like
yeah,
so that's definitely like maybe it felt like I had done like I didn't do anything, kind of like that stagnation illusion. It's like I'm not where I know that I could be, kind of thing. But that's the
mhm,
illusion. Like we're always trying to attain this perfect thing that
yeah,
in reality it is not going to make us happy and is impossible to achieve. You know what I mean? Like impossible in quotes. Like so
yeah.
that's a really good insight that you brought up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, also, if you think about it, you were the one that brought that up.
Yeah. Well,
Because I was someone saying that I felt like I wasn't really moving anywhere, and you just clicked me back into reality there real quick. Thanks, bud.
heck yeah, for sure. So how are you like how are you growing in your life? What areas are different, like continue to improve and build?
Um, I mean, it's all expanding at once now.
Heck yeah.
There's a lot, man. I've always felt like the jack of all trades type. You know, I get interested in something and then I'm like, what's that? I'm gonna try that out over here. I did so many different I was in scouts, track, band, and like I don't remember, like clubs. I was doing all sorts of stuff at the same time in high school, and that's just like I wasn't the best at anything, but I think the one thing that I finally found that I'm actually really great at now is just brewing, and I love it.
Yeah.
For like the last 4 years, I've been a brewer professionally, and even though now I work with kombucha, it's still like it's my passion. Getting this drink, using all the like passion and knowledge that I can to create something as high quality as possible that people are going to love, and then selling it at like a comparable rate to competitors. I'm just like, ha, and that's the same price as this garbage. Get out of here. Sorry, I don't actually consider much garbage, but anyways, so
No, I
that's
feel
where
you.
I feel it's my life is headed, is just deeper into brewing and being a dad.
Yeah, dude. So let's talk about brewing for a little bit. Like what is brewing to you? What does that give you? Like what do
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like what do you value from it?
so brewing is like it's all sorts of things. First of all, it is both like in my opinion, it is a perfect storm of everything I wanted to do, which is like chemistry, working with your hands in like a dirty situation. I don't like working in a clean like office where you can't cuss or you can't drink on the job. That's like the third thing I like to do. I love to drink on the job.
Yeah.
You just become a brewer. If you want to drink on the job, work at a brewery. They'll be
Yeah.
okay with it. But yeah, I mean, so the thing that I always think of, because I've never been like a really religious guy. I was raised in a religious Christian-ish family for years until we stopped going to church when I was maybe like middle school. But the thing I always think about is these tiny organisms that you raise, uh, like in their own biome, or their own little ecosystem that you create. You have all the parameters in check, which is like pressure and temperature and all the nutrients involved and any other bacteria that may be in there. You just make sure it's clean as heck. And I've always thought, like, what if God's just like a brewer?
Yeah.
Not to be all like, oh, I'm like a god. No, it's more like it's just such an intriguing thought, along with a lot of ancient teachings like the Egyptians had, which you showed me was as above, so below,
Yeah, dude.
and vice versa. I mean, and then going into other Mesoamerican types, they believed in a similar concept, and same with I'm forgetting that other one, the really old one, the Sumerians, who were also the first recorded brewers, and the
Wow.
Egyptians were too.
Oh yeah. That's true. They did a kind of like a thick beer, the Egyptians.
Hmm. Yeah, there's some old, I think it was called a gruit.
Cool. I don't know what it's called. That's cool.
A gruit is like a beer that doesn't use hops.
Hmm.
So,
I read that it used to be a form of currency. Like some people would get paid in alcohol or whatever it was, the grut.
yeah, there's gruit, and then
Gruit.
later on in Europe, and so table beer is just a really light. It's like over here in
Oh
America,
wait,
you
could you
can
repeat that
probably
real quick?
find it. Oh, okay. So table beer is just like a really, um, it's a it's a light beer. It's Belgian style. So I'm not going to go into what the Belgians do, but it has that sort of palate, um, which means that it's okay to drink a little bit warmer than your average beer. Um, Still cold, but a little warmer. So that it kind of comes from this working class where they basically need to disinfect this water, and how else to do it but to dump in bacteria or yeast that you know is going to clean it up, and then just drink the 2% stuff, and nobody's getting
Oh.
drunk off of 2%, 2.5%. But over here, you find it. I was going to say, you find a lot of American styles that have kind of taken the table beer and turned it into like a 3.5%, 3.2. I'd say the cutoff is 2.7, 2.8 for that style. But anyways, yeah, that style is a part of history, and it's I mean, pretty
Yeah.
awesome if you think about it. Drink it
Yeah,
on the
dude.
job.
So you brought up another interesting point. Talking about just like creating this little environment and like really keeping being mindful of all the different aspects of it in order to create this like to make this creation. So
Yeah,
like I believe that we're all creators. Like we all have that creative component within us. And the other thing I wanted to
yeah,
point out is when you know one thing like you see it broadly in all things. So I just think it's really cool that like you're able to use brewery as a way to kind of like understand a certain like perspective as far as like God and like creation, and I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It yeah, it is kind of like it did become more of a spiritual thing for me, which
Wow.
is weird. Not like in a really deep spiritual way, but more like in a Zen like meditation sort of way, because you're thinking about, I mean, layers at that point, the layers of life. You're thinking about a circle of life type aspect, like how these yeasts are these microorganisms you're raising, and then maybe there's one out there who's raising us, or maybe he just left us like in a bowl or something, you know.
Yeah.
That could we could just be unattended. It happens. So
Mm.
just be like, I left the people in there, dang it. I gotta clean it out. But okay. So wait, going back to biblical stuff, I just love bringing up the point that if God was a brewer, the story of Noah totally makes sense, because Noah, first of all, was a winemaker. Um, that's nuts. And then also, he chose him to take all these animals, supposedly onto a boat of superior construction to all these floods and stuff. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to me. It makes sense if he was a brewer and was like, "No, I need to clean this out. I'm isolating this strain, and then I'm going to cultivate it over here." This is exactly what we do as brewers.
Whoa.
I mean, just that story of God being a brewer. It's like, and then the same thing with Sodom and Gomorrah, and he saves Abraham's brother.
Yeah.
Weird
Or his
stories that I've
yeah.
read that I'm like, the brewer's perspective in religion is kind of playing to that in my mind.
Wow, dude, I'd never
So,
heard it in those terms before. You're opening my mind.
oh, good. I know I said that was a weird thing. I told you, I said, you were like, you're opening my mind, or you're expanding my brain.
Yeah, dude.
It's
You
just an
are.
Omar thing to say. Oh my
uh
goodness.
yeah, dude. Another cool thing about like just like brewing and the Bible is there's that one story where Jesus makes wine for the party, and then everyone's like,
Oh, I'm sorry, it cut out.
"Oh
Wait,
yeah, yeah, we're
wait.
G
I'm sorry, it cut out, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah." I can start over.
Yeah, sorry to it.
So talking about like brewing and like biblical stories, there's that story of Jesus where Jesus makes wine for that party, and then somebody's like, "Oh, like you've surely like saved the best wine for last." And I don't know, I think that's pretty cool, just like
Yeah, that story in the Bible, when I read it, I had a weird thought, because the way that they tell that story, it was that they throw on this wedding, and then um, it's like a week long or something. It's a really long wedding, because I guess they used to be bangers back then. Um, and Jesus, like midway through, runs into this crisis where his mom kind of takes the entire party and points it towards him and says he can fix this, because she really believes in it. So he goes up to these, and the way it's worded in the Bible, it's these like pots, these large containers, like 30 to 50 gallons, which is like this 50, 30 gallons is like a barrel in brewing, so like 31 gallons. That's like a half barrel keg. So, or sorry, no, sorry, that's like a barrel. That's like two half barrel kegs. Sorry. So, like, if you've ever seen a large keg, that's like, you could just kind of imagine two of those stacked on top of each other. That's about how big the 30-gallon ones would be. So they're these big, giant clay pots, and they were just sitting there before the party, just sitting there. And then it says that as Jesus poured water into these, then the servants were the only ones that really saw. Like it kind of. I don't remember the exact wording. I wish I had it. Like I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but if you read it, they say that the servants noticed something different, though. It kind of leads into that. And what I think he did was he just created a starter and then added water.
Oh,
I mean, because he could do that.
what is a starter?
Just like condensed wine, like
Oh,
just
okay.
all the other part, like the berry and whatever else you're gonna have in there. I mean, the grapes, the juice, and whatever else you're gonna have in there. But I mean, it's probably pre-fermented at a high density, so it's already alcoholic. It's like just a really high alcohol concentrated wine, and then
Mm.
diluted. And that's funny because I thought of that because that's how we make kombucha. We just create a heavy batch of kombucha and then we dilute it and flavor it from there.
Oh,
So I was like, what if he just poured water in these things that already had a wine concentrate? Not to
yeah.
be like, oh, Jesus, how could you? But I mean, that was the brewer's perspective on that one,
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. This is an expert observation.
and nothing else.
That's really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
dude.
just a thought.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying all these thoughts so far.
Oh, we are. I got another topic. Here, let me
Yeah,
see.
dude.
Uh, it'll take 2 seconds.
You gotta
All
go
right,
through the
here I
menu.
am. See, 2 seconds. There we go. Uh, all right. The competitive fighting game scene. That's a good topic.
Heck yeah.
So, I don't know about you, but I think the competitive fighting game scene needs to really come into the mainstream now because it would make a lot of people happy and oodles of money. Oodles of money. I mean, think of the jobs, think of the opportunities for these kids to show the world that like playing a game is not only just kind of fun, but like shows off some major intelligence and intellect and strategy and all that. I mean, you have these guys fighting in these rings, just beating each other to a pulp. That's really fun sometimes. Or you could have these nerds just duking it out because they were just bullied by their older brothers who kept just spawn killing them, you know, like my older brothers would. Like in Smash Bros, they would just take me out first and then fight like for reals.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what made me a competitor, man. And you see these other guys and you're like, man, what happened to you? Did you have three older brothers? Or, I mean, I don't know. So the competitive fighting
Yeah.
game scene's been growing a little, but the craziest thing that just happened, which unfortunately got canceled due to the COVID thing, is Smash Brothers which is the number one fighting game at Evo right now, which is the major fighting game tournament in the United States, if people don't know. They got a worldwide tour set up by like these random sponsors. I forget who did it. It was a named sponsor. You'd recognize them. But they had a worldwide tour with hundreds of thousands of dollars of prize money and all this stuff. And then done. It's not here because of the coronavirus. But it was like the chance, it was a chance it had. So it's going to happen again. YouTubers have already thrown on these private tournaments for games that don't get company support because some games, specifically created by Nintendo, are way against the competitive scene. So you have these communities that just kind of rise up and fund themselves. But there hasn't been a major funded tournament for Smash Bros. That's been like significant in comparison to like any sports or even that Fortnite tournament that they had, which was just like kind of something that rose the popularity, and then what happened to it? It's like gone now. So I don't know. I'm waiting for that lasting sport of esports. I'm sorry I've been going on so long. I know you want to say something.
Dude, that's pretty interesting. Like, I was listening to my friend talk about like competitive gaming, and he explained how like Asian teams, like a gaming team, I don't know, like a Fortnite team in Korea, they're able to practice and train. It's kind of like it's viewed as like a professional sport in certain countries, so they get like
Yeah.
a certain kind of funding, whereas here in America, usually like the teams, like their gaming will like pay for their training, so they'll be posting things on YouTube, like Twitch streams and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
because of that, the other foreign teams are able to see their strategies because they're all online. So I don't know, I thought that was pretty interesting. So you've actually like competed professionally, right?
Yeah, one time. It was a minor tournament, just a 64-man tournament that you had to qualify for. That was back in, I was actually in Oklahoma. It was at
Oh.
this retro game store. And they threw a small tournament for like in store prize money. So, and it was weird too, because it was actually during Brawl. So, a lot of these fighting games, they kind of just are a standardized version of a game. And then they will be modified the next generation. And generally, they're if you could play one of them, you could play all of them. And in this fighting game series, Super Smash Brothers, Brawl was the third installment, and it was a very different playing game than the first two, because the first one was a little blocky, still quick. The second one, they ironed out a lot. They made the frame data superior in so many ways to the first one, and it was just a lot faster and more fun to play. And the third one, Brawl, this is the one I was playing, is super floaty. They had a weird tripping mechanic where your character would randomly trip sometimes, which kind of took away from the competitive scene really quickly. So it was a very short-lived game. But anyways, they had these weird tournament rules where you had to choose different characters. Like you can only have the same character twice uh, out of the entire tournament. So you had to
So
be
would
good
you,
at like a lot
yeah.
of them.
So would you save your best
That's
characters for last?
I did. I saved. I actually just went out the first round with a good character, like my second best to start, because I didn't want to lose right away, and I kind of wanted to see like that. I wanted to warm up and win and keep that momentum going. So I just kind of did that, and then waited until the last two rounds to break out my best, and then that was like over. The last round actually was the easiest one because I had a
That's
really good
right.
character matchup, and it was my best one. So,
Who is your
but the
character?
poor guy, is Ike. So Ike is just in a lot of fighting games they kind of mimic. I'm just explaining this for your audience. Fighting games they mimic real fighting, so it's like heavyweights, uh, lightweights. This is like a welterweight type character. Just not really fast, not like this, not incredibly strong, but pretty dang strong, and just like a well-ranged character. But I liked playing Ike because something, just a character waving a sword that was the same size as someone else. I don't know. It's exciting, man.
Yeah,
You
dude.
ever see those videos online where the guy like has a great sword that cold steel makes these great swords, and they're like cutting
Yeah.
pigs in half?
Yeah, dude.
Something about that.
I watched. I follow a YouTube channel that makes like video game and anime weapons,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, dude. I forgot what I think it's called, like the Forge or the Forge and the Shield or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so freaking tight. I discovered them at Anime Expo one year, and they were talking about how they collaborated with some cosplayers to make like authentic like cosplay like an authentic cosplay with real weapons. So I discovered them there at Anime Expo. And I started like I watched all their YouTube videos, dude. It's so cool to see like the process of how they go about creating this fantastic thing into something in our realm. And then they'll like go and like slice like watermelons and stuff in the back, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh my god, I've always wanted to go to one of those too.
Anime Expo?
Yeah, I've always had a weird vision of me being there, like with
Heck yeah.
Kenzie.
Yeah, dude. Would you guys cosplay?
Yeah, I'm not joking. I actually had like a weird vision,
Yeah.
like that's resounded throughout time. Now, throughout my dreams, though, it's weird because all it is it's me, but I have gray hair and I'm like an old man, slightly balded, and I have like a staff, kind of like just like a wizard. And then Kenzie's dressed just like it is Kenzie as an adult, and she's dressed just like that one. I think it's Bloodstained. There's that new game by the same guy that created Castlevania Symphony of the Night. One of the most notorious Metroidvanias. It's like probably the Vania in Metroidvania. Anyways, super famous game designer, same game, and it came out after I had like this weird dream that recurred, and all it is, it's just me standing there, like we're like posing for a picture.
Wow. Yeah, dude. I feel like you'd have a good time, you and Kenzie, grown up Kenzie.
Yeah, yeah, it would be fun. My cousin's gone to them, and she does all her own costumes. It just looks like a blast. Looks like something that would be, because you'd be there like as a popular character, and there are like 50 more of that same character.
Yeah.
You see groups of Batmans running around, and one of them's like in a real bat suit, and one of them's got like paper plates that he throws that are batarangs.
And then you see like these like super specific like niche versions of Batman. Like you see like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I don't know, you see like Nurse Batman or something like
yeah.
that. Like
Oh my gosh, I think the best one I saw was Mrs. Nesbit, which is Buzz Lightyear without the arm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing. It's just a weird one scene.
Yeah. Seriously, dude. Yeah, I haven't gone to a convention in a little while. I think I'm into Anime Expo like 2 times, maybe 3 times, and
Mhm.
I've had a lot of fun, dude. It's definitely like a memory maker, like something to at least like I cherished. Like I was able to go with like a group of
Did you
friends.
did you cosplay at all?
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
No. Who would I cosplay as?
I don't know, man. That's a question I always ask myself.
Hmm.
So I can't even get past me on that one. I'm a very selfish person. But for you, I don't know, Omar. You're just like your own anomaly. It's hard to pin you down. It's almost unfair.
Wow. Yeah, I want to be something like unexpected. Like what the heck? Like I didn't even know that was possible.
You could
Like
probably pull off that one guy from Far Cry 3.
oh, I never played that one.
Oh, dang! It's that one actor. He plays Nacho Varga in Better Call Saul. I forget his name. Anyways, he plays the bad guy in Far Cry 3, and he did a really good job. And I wish the graphics were there today.
Oh, I
But
feel you. Okay,
I
I'll
mean,
keep that
he'd
in
be a
mind.
famous one. Yeah, you'd have
Yeah.
to cut your hair though, or
Oh,
find
okay.
something,
He
or
has short hair.
maybe he wears a top bun. He might wear a top bun in that. I don't remember.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah, he's got your look, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good, like that. You could just slim out your beard a little, kind of.
Yeah. What was the character's name again?
I don't remember. It's just the antagonist from Far Cry 3. You'll know him
All right.
because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah. Here,
some more
I'm gonna Google
Hispanic
it real
looking
quick.
one. I think you could do it. I'm really trying to remember. I'm like, this guy is probably the most video game character that I think Omar looks like or could look
he
like.
has like a mohawk. He's wearing like a tank
Hmm.
top and like this kind
Oh yeah,
of
that's right.
yeah. I mean, yeah, dude. I can kind of see that. He has like a crazy look in his eyes.
Yeah, you gotta have the crazy look where you're like, you know.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. It's hard to
I,
work with the hair. There aren't any guys with beards in anime or
oh,
shows
wow, dude.
ever.
You see what I mean about opening my mind? Like,
There's that one guy from Cowboy Bebop. I'd have to take off some hair, but
I got a funny story about Anime Expo. Can I tell you?
yeah, yeah, of course. What do you?
So, so, my friends and I go. We figure out to like go for the 4 days, and the only thing that I really wanted, the only panel that I wanted to attend was a panel called I think it was called Faku, and it
What?
was a it was a hentai panel.
Oh,
So
you told me this one. I think you told me this. Was it the story about the bicycle ferry?
yeah, the
Or
bicycle ferry was there, but that's not what I was.
okay.
That's not what the
Oh, never
story's about.
mind. Okay, I thought you were telling me about that.
We yeah, so I this was the only reason why like I really wanted to go, and I remember like so we line up outside of the building for the event, and then the line gets moved inside when like the time comes. So for this particular event, it was really popular and it was kind of unorganized. So we were like in line, but like in line in the wrong spot. Like there were like multiple lines happening.
Oh,
So yeah, dude. So we're like, what the heck? And when it got closer to when the panel was gonna start, so we decided to go inside and actually go to the room where it was at, and we saw that they were already like letting people in, and they were like, oh yeah, like you guys can't be here, like we're just like this is already like gonna be at full capacity. And
hmm.
so like we were in a group, and the group was starting to kind of get like a little rambunctious, and I turn to my friends and I'm like, yo, like we can still get in, but let's go hang over here away from this rambunctious group. So we leave and just kind of chill against the wall. So we still have an eye on the door, but like they're breaking up the rambunctious crowd already, right?
Uh huh.
So those guys like get like escorted out from the entrance, and they're still letting people into the line. And I was like, okay, guys, like our chance is coming up. We just got to get in this line. So like eventually the line starts to like get less and less, like less people. And I walk up to the dude, the anime expo guy, and I was like, "Hey, is there still room?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, like you guys can totally come in." So I was like, "Yeah, yeah, like we did it!" And it was like a huge victory, like just by being patient. So I was just like the moral
What?
of the story is like I was so freaking determined to watch this hentai panel, and if you believe that you can, like get in and like really like embrace your desires, like you'll find a way. You don't listen to anybody trying to hold you back, anybody trying to like break up your group. Like sometimes you got to take yourself away from the mainstream and like chill with the eye on the prize for a little bit. But then like the opportunity will come up. You just got to be patient, think a little bit outside of the box or outside of the mob, and then make sure to take action when you see it.
It's funny because all of that's true, and then the motive. Motive
Yeah.
is like the best part.
You gotta
It's like
do it for the hentai.
you could be like telling your teenage son this, and be like, you gotta work hard, you gotta do this. I know this because I went to this panel. Then that's where he finds it. That's where he hears it first.
That's where you discover
So
the bicycle ferry.
the what?
The
Oh, the
bicycle ferry.
bicycle. It's just such a weird thing. You told me. Can't, we can't unhear that, man. You can't unhear the bicycle
Dude,
fairy.
you can't
But
unwatch it either.
I don't want it. I don't even want to. I want to unremember. Some things aren't meant to happen, but I mean that one makes too much sense almost.
Uh, I wasn't expecting to talk about this with you, Andrew.
But me neither. But I really didn't expect anything. But if you did want another topic, I do have oodles. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fun inventions.
Okay. The the bicycle ferry bike.
The bicycle ferry bike. They probably already make that. They probably already did a lot with that idea.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've seen. I can't remember if I've seen pictures of like people cosplaying as that, but it's pretty interesting. It's like a helmet
Yeah.
with like a tire, like a bicycle wheel, and I forgot where the
Oh,
other
they're
wheel
actually the
is.
bike. They're actually the bike. You
Yeah,
mean as the bike?
the ferry is the bike.
So they're dressing as the bike.
Yeah, and then like the face is the seat.
No, I can't do it. How does that even? I don't want to.
I think I'm remembering it right. The face is the seat. Yeah. And
I
then like,
don't. I didn't ever look at it, so
okay. Yeah, dude,
I just remember what you told me.
what's another fun invention?
Uh, QR codes on graves.
Oh yeah, we were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the idea is like to just have, I mean, a regular gravestone. You just kind of pass them by until you find your relatives. So why not be able to use something like AR technology, maybe even VR technology, to speak to the dead, or at least in a sort of way, and see what they had, like as far as like these are mostly people that, like, a lot of them died of old age, right? And like a lot of graveyards have mostly like people that were older. So you have all these lives of it, like that are basically all the knowledge is wasted or just spent on a tiny part of society, like their family. And I mean, you'd have people just showing up at graveyards, just learning. And I don't see a better way to pay respect to the dead than that, you know, than making their time worth other people's time.
Yeah,
So
like a way to pass on maybe a certain story or experience or knowledge in virtual
mhm.
or augmented reality.
Yeah, then like you said, like had they be like the the Sith Lord when he
Yeah,
comes
dude.
out and he's like execute order 626.
Or like a little the little Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out of R2D2.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be a pretty cool grave. Like imagine like R2D2 as the gravestone, and then like the person is like cosplaying as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it's like
well that'd be pretty cool. Great.
so talking about this, I have seen I did see a QR code on a grave, and it took me to a YouTube video, and somebody made like a memorial video of this person, just kind of
That's
like
good.
a biography. Yeah, dude, I thought it was pretty cool, but I like your idea where it's like that person like talking, or that that person like being the hologram.
Hmm. Yeah, it could be like the Facebook for dead people. I mean,
Wow.
they're gonna need one of those. You could see it.
Dang. Yeah, dude.
So
That's
that's one of the ideas. The other one was damn it. Well, I had the fun one in between that. Poober. It's
what's a
like
poober.
It's like Uber, but so you could poop.
Like it.
Specifically made for like Vegas and New York or other places where you need like go somewhere and potentially poop at the same time. Just call up a Uber. Uber could just call it too. The Uber could just take that idea. There's a free one, Uber, if you're listening. All right.
So it's like a instead of like trying to get somewhere, it's like a toilet coming to you.
Yeah, and it might take you somewhere also. You know, bus
Okay.
toilets do that. It might just even be on like a circuit. I always thought that like Vegas would be perfect because you just go back and forth on the toilet thing.
Yeah, like along the strip.
Hilarious. Really.
Oh wait, that cut out. Say that again. Like a circuit going
So,
back and forth.
yeah. Oh wait, that part cut out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or right after
Well,
that.
I was just saying that the poober thing can just go back and forth, but the main idea of poober was just that it's called poober.
You just like it because of the name.
Yeah. But my actual idea, like if I were to have one of those like as seen on TV things, it would be the Dadicade, which is like a barricade for dads. Because how often do you find yourself you're just sitting there on a couch? I don't know, maybe you're trying to read something on your phone real quick, get an important business message. Maybe you're just chilling out, having a beer, watching the game. And then all of a sudden these little toddlers run out of nowhere and just hit you in the nuts. It's devastating. They do it every time, they do it full force, and they're trying to show you something. So you're like, that's beautiful, sweetie, you know? Because it's just, they hit you where it counts. But not anymore, not with the Dadicade. The barricade made specifically for dads that has a cup holder. It's Wi-Fi enabled. It's basically a triangle that fits in between your legs. It's kind of cushiony, and it also can hold your beverages, charge your phone, and then I'm thinking like we'll even put some of those like tactical mounts that you see on ARs, you know, like on guns. It's like that railing, and then you could slide on like, oh, I'm feeling cushions today, or I'm putting on the spikes, you know, gotta ward off those dang kids. It's kind of like a little mood attachment. Yeah, and it might even have like a speaker or be waterproof or something. But it kind of made me think about how you could just kind of take anything and make it tactical by adding pockets, a railing, or like a some sort of zipper, you know.
Yeah, dude.
So,
Tactical. You're gonna need a zipper for that too to just like pee. I mean, I don't
or
know.
like it
I'm
has a flashlight and a knife attachment. Like you could probably take like a, I don't know, let's find a random object in the room and just decide to make it tactical.
okay.
So like my slipper here, this baby,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good slipper, but how would it be better? I don't know. You just have another pocket here and it slides out. It's got multi-tools, a lighter, and it's Wi-Fi enabled. Boom, tactical. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I think.
That's brilliant.
But I think that there'd be good money in just making regular devices into tactical devices and selling them as tactical devices.
Right. Yeah. That's a good idea. You're with I'm looking around like I don't know, like maybe like a tactical notebook, like a tactical journal. There's just like a zipper that like holds weapons. I don't know, like
A zipper that holds weapons. I don't know. You see some items and you're like, that would be good. That would be a good tactical item. You know,
maybe
gotta get another one.
like a tactical umbrella kind of makes sense. Like
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Got all sorts of stuff in like we have like a little, it's like some screwdrivers. I don't know. They usually have like tools that come out of them somehow,
yeah.
or like a lighter. Usually there's like a random lighter attachment. You're like, how do they even afford that? Where do
Hmm.
you fuel it? It's like, this is a knife and a lighter?
Like I don't know, I imagine like going to some kind of 4th of July party and then like everyone has the fireworks but no one has a lighter and it's like, don't worry guys, like I got a tactical umbrella. They're like, what? Like
I have a really cool umbrella. It's like he turns the cane upside down. Be perfect.
Wow, it's like like Hagrid like lighting the fire, but it said it's just like a tactical umbrella instead of a magical umbrella.
Yeah, and it could have different attachments for the umbrella parts, you know, or like maybe a tactical visor where you could flip it up in case you had to like block yourself and look through it.
Oh, okay.
Like you know how secret agents in movies have like bulletproof umbrellas. It'd be like that, but it'd be like it's made out of Kevlar.
Okay. Like a Kevlar umbrella with a zipper for a lighter.
Waterproof Kevlar.
Yeah.
I mean, anyways, there's money in tactical devices. Let's just say that.
All right. So are you open to the idea of like creating like inventing these things and like
No, I
somehow
just can't do it.
what do you mean?
I have inventions that I do want to make, but a lot of them are just things that already exist that I'd make my own of, like the uh, the 3D archery range. I have an idea where it's basically just like a little tower that you stand on. It's maybe going to be 8, 10 feet tall, and then I'm just going to have this pedal that I step on, and it's attached to a pulley system, and that pulley system's attached to different pins that as it as this weight drops, it'll trigger these pins, which will then release lines that are out in the field, and then those lines will, I mean, depending on the element that's out there, which I have designs for, like one that's a deer that runs across on a track, ones that are birds that get thrown up that are like made for either clay pigeons or actual like birds that are like on a post. But yeah, I just wrote a bunch of those in a notebook. Those are my like designs. But then when it comes to ideas, I just have these dumb ideas that I'm never gonna do that people would probably enjoy. I just really wish there's a space that I could just put it that wasn't Reddit.
Yeah, dude, I think there is.
Yeah.
We can,
Well,
yeah,
I
we
mean that
can,
where people would actually do that.
yeah.
Like, who's gonna invent the Datacade? Is that actually a good idea, or is it just a fad that would sell for maybe 5 years, like the pet rock?
Dude, either way, like, you know what I mean? It's not like, I mean, I don't know, maybe like one idea may like still like ripple out through history, but just a lot of things, like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of things just have their season.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I
but
hope
the,
people use the QR code one.
yeah, dude, that's a,
That's the one.
that's pretty incredible. You're reminding me of my friend Aaron, who he wants to create like a virtual reality experience that's
Hmm.
like infinite. So it's just like an infinite labyrinth kind of thing. And I
Ooh.
don't know, I feel like maybe there could be like some kind of virtual graveyard where like you walk onto a real graveyard, but there's like the virtual version of it where instead of the gravestones, maybe you see all the Obi-Wan Kenobis.
They're all dressed like him too.
Yeah, or like
Why?
I like I don't make if you ever play like a video game like a World of Warcraft, you played World of Warcraft?
Yeah. I
Remember
played,
how
or
yeah,
I didn't play it, but I watched it for a short while.
like I don't know, some kind of like ghost creature or like something like that, like from that game. Like just like the or no, actually like Harry Potter is probably a better example, like how the ghosts are fly around Hogwarts and like chill in like the dining hall and stuff. Like something like
Oh
that,
yeah,
but like a cool graveyard, like a Hogwarts in a graveyard.
that could be cool. I wonder if that's kosher.
I
So I
don't know.
wonder how many religions you'd have in there too. You know, like that would be like, I don't want to be in this graveyard now.
Yeah, wow, okay. That's trippy. Like yeah, some people maybe don't want to live on that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say about the eternal rest. of non-existence, potentially Valhalla or whatever, heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to believe in, but I mean, when you're, it's weird because when you're raised like from an early age, then you have like this really intense built-in inner thought that is just like persistent. So I do believe deep down, like I still have this like religious mentality, but it's been filtered immensely through life experience and just deep thought. I mean, I started reading the Bible. That's how you know they at least want to figure stuff out. But I don't know. That's I'll tell you in 10 years where I'm at with that.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I definitely feel you. It's like deep in there, dude. It's part of the programming when we were sponges.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's cool that like you're open to that exploration and just that kind of like that curiosity. It's like one thing that I think about is like if God is infinite, then wouldn't each religion be just a different expression of God? Like if everything on earth is an expression of like this divine energy, like this divine source, then
Hmm.
each religion or belief would hold some kind of divine aspect to it. Kind of like how,
Yeah.
like if you like in each religion, like religion could be a flower, and then there's different kinds of flowers. There's like a rose, and there's like a sunflower, and there's like a lily, there's like a lotus. So like there's all these different flowers. Like they're all flowers, but they all look, smell, just like seem different. Like and but
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like each one is still like beautiful in its own way and has something to appreciate.
I have a thought on that
Yeah.
specifically. Um, so when I was researching like religion and how they intersect, the thing I kept finding was the golden age or the golden era. It exists in like every religion, which is crazy to think about because it makes you think, well, maybe there must have been something. Humans must have been at a point where they could do something spectacular, or a few of them could, because it is a very universal idea in like every religion, whether it's Hindu or Christianity or freaking like any sect of like the whole, as far as like the Bible or Torah concerned. There's so many different religions that, or Muslim religion, it's the same. So I don't know. You look across all of them, even Greek mythology. It's a golden age, and uh, Egyptian religion has it too. It's like the Hawaiians had it. Freaking, there's so many. I don't want to go on. Anyways, the point is that there's a golden age, and then it got me to thinking at that same time, in conjunction with the thought how how space time works, and how if you're in one point and someone else is at another point, then they've actually experienced time differently than you have because time technically doesn't exist. It's a human concept. So, um, and space is a human concept too, but it's more real, I feel, than time because space is literally the interaction between particles or the non interaction between particles. So it's like maybe the idea of have you heard of like the Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so maybe that idea is like a good example of people coming from different timelines, and
You wanna
there is
explain
a,
that real quick in case somebody's listening doesn't know?
yeah, so the Mandela effect is based off of Nelson Mandela, who either you'll remember that he died in prison or you won't. And you'll be like, no, he didn't. And the funny thing about that idea is that if you do think that he died in prison, you're wrong. And so many people are convinced that he did. So my take on that is potentially misinformation. It's a big, like, once you hear something that someone else said, it is really hard to think clearly and remember correctly, especially if it's a small detail. Mine personally, as far as the Mandela effects are concerned, is the Bernstein Bears. It was never the Berenstain Bears. It was the Bernstein Bears to me growing up all through my life. And I was reading through these Mandela effects. I didn't believe them until I read that one. It just said is it the Bernstein Bears or the Berenstain Bears? And I was like, what's the Bernstein Bears? Everyone knows that. And it was the Berenstain Bears. And I almost shit my pants. It was crazy.
Another
So
one is Looney Tunes. Like
yes,
the
that
way
me too.
tunes is spelled.
Tunes like music. Yeah,
Yeah.
weird.
Like it's right now what I'm looking on my phone, it's spelled like Tunes, but people think it's like loony like LOO and then tunes like TOO. But that's not the right one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I always think the same too when I see that. Even like I don't know. I threw one on the other day because I wanted Kenzie to see it, and it was like, "Are you kidding me? This is Looney Tune, like TUNES." And then even in Space Jam, I watched Space Jam, which is that movie comes at you hard, man. Like from the first second, it is just a party on
That's
the
a good
screen.
movie. I
It just
believe
goes
I can
nuts.
fly.
It's like, hey, yo, what you gonna do? Hey, yo, what you gonna do? It's like just
Yeah.
like the beginning is just like Michael Jordan, just dunking on everyone, and he's taking out Larry Bird and all these other people. It's just like, whoa, holy sh. Like, anyways, yeah, even in that movie, it doesn't make any sense. Tune time, TUNETime. What tune? Like not TOON, like cartoon. It was tunes, like Looney Tunes, Looney cartoons, not Looney music. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that idea of the Mandela effect. I'm sorry I keep bubbling down into subgenres of this idea, but that's how I work. Okay, the Mandela effect kind of, in like a broader sense, makes way more sense. Like because we lived in such a short period of time that the difference between our lives as far as like particle interaction is concerned is not much, even if we were on different sides of the earth, you know. But
Okay.
what if just one part of the earth remains stagnant from other particles? Would it technically move at a slightly different time because its time doesn't exist? You know, even though it's bound to the earth.
The particles are stagnant from everything else.
Like as if you'd say, I don't know, there's a pocket of space hanging over Colorado. It's not moving. It's not windy. There's no traffic going in and out. Like I wonder if the act of uh, particles being very still can affect perspective and maybe even like because of it affecting your perspective from point A, then point B would see it differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a hard concept for me to even explain because just me thinking about it makes my brain go like, "Ugh." I have
Yeah.
like a momentary moment of like a senile relapse that just
No.
I don't even know where it originated from.
It's
But
kind of like, yeah, just like on the subject of this and cartoons, Maybe like there's a cartoon where they never go into the second season, but they just keep making episodes. So there's like that storyline, and then there's a storyline where there's like seasons of the cartoon, and like every season, like maybe the outfits will change a little bit. Maybe like the characters are the same, but they're just like a little bit different. Maybe the voices change, like the voice actors are different. Maybe the artists are different. So it's
Mhm.
like two different timelines. Is that kind of like an example of what you're talking about?
Yeah. Let me see if I can explain it better. Maybe with the way like how light works.
Okay.
Um, because or sound, I don't know, something that travels in like a beam. So like sound is a better idea. So your perspective of sound based off of acoustics is kind of just going to be different depending where you sit in the room, right? And that just I think that is exactly how all particle interaction works. Therefore, at least you'd be experiencing something different just simply by being somewhere else. Whether or
Mm.
not it's like a split that comes back into its own time, I mean, I have no idea whether, well, like how that works, but as, as far as particle interaction goes, it just would make sense that if you were to take one path and someone else were to take another path, then you'd be experiencing two very different times if you were to never meet again, you know?
Yeah,
It's a
talking
weird thing
about.
to say, but it's actually what I believe.
And so
Sorry.
I'm still trying to like wrap my head around it. As far as like experiencing sound, it's kind of like there could be the same song playing from like a speaker, but it'll sound different with your face next to the speaker as opposed to hearing it from outside of the room. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like it. And then at a certain point, the song never happened at all because you're too far away to hear it.
Yeah. All right.
So maybe I don't know. That's more based off of human intellect, though. My concept, that'd probably be a lot better drawn out. I'll have to draw it to you and send it to you, and you can just post it on social media for everyone to see this ridiculous part of the conversation
Yeah,
that I
dude.
had to bring up.
It sounds lovely.
But it makes sense with the golden ages because, like, it makes sense with a golden age of religion. I don't know. It's the only real connection I could see. Other than that, I think I'm about ready to get out of here.
All right. Yeah, this was a very stimulating conversation.
Yeah, I had some probably more interesting topics too. If you ever want to do this again or
Oh,
have
heck
me
yeah.
on with like a group or something, like you want to do a trio with Zach, that'd be cool. I'd be down.
All right. For sure. Thank you,
Yeah.
Andrew. I
Hey, it
love
was
you.
really
I
fun,
appreciate
Omar.
you. Yeah, dude, so much fun. This was awesome.
Yeah, dude. I've never been on podcast before. Love you too, bro. It was a really awesome. I didn't know what to expect, but I definitely want to do something like this again.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, see you soon. Stay
All right, dude.
safe. Wash your hands.
See you, bud.